All right, welcome to workout number 4, preparing for the Army Combat Fitness Test here at home. Today's going to be a upper body workout. As you can see, we're down in my basement, so it's a little different than the other workouts that we've done. We're down here today because we're going to be using some bands, and I needed something to attach them to, so we're down here today. The equipment that you'll need for this workout, you'll need like a chair or a step stool. You'll need some bands and or some dumbbells. Really, the bands, you'll get a better workout today if you have bands. The set that I have is kind of like a heavier duty set. There's 4. It was about $50. You can get some cheaper ones from like Walmart for about 20 bucks. And then you will also need a ball or a medicine ball or something similar, or a small step stool to do one of the events that we're going to do. All right, I'm going to hit start on my stopwatch and we're going to warm up. Okay, so we're just going to start with the bend and reach. Get our back and our shoulders limbered up. Do a couple more. All right, then we're just going to do some arm swings. Open your chest. Stretch out the back a little bit. All right, I want you to come down onto your hands and knees. We're going to do a spinal mobility drill. So you're just going to sit back onto your heels. Let your back kind of round. You're going to cross your arm over your neck or the back of your head. And you're just going to bring your elbow down to your opposite knee and then open up. So you should feel this through your mid to upper back and through your shoulder. You're not forcing anything. Each time you should just get a little bit more limber. We'll do like 8 to 10 of those. And then we'll do the other side. All right, the next thing you're going to do is just lifting your arm up in front of you, some shoulder flexion, just kind of warming up our rotator cuff and scapular stabilizing muscles. Okay, and then we're going to go out to the side. All right, stand back up. We're going to do some 90-90 rotations of our shoulders. Okay, and then we're going to do a couple push-ups. 1, 2, 3. Then you can kind of sag in the middle a little bit and extend back. All right, so that was our warm up, a little bit less than 4 minutes. I'm just gonna check that my phone is still recording. All right, we're gonna get started. The first move that we're gonna do is a decline push-up. So you can have your feet up on a chair, or to make it a little easier, like a small step stool, kind of like this. I'm gonna start with mine on the chair. And we're gonna get started. So we're gonna do about 20 here. All right, so that move is a little bit more challenging to your shoulders and your upper chest. If you have wrist mobility issues, you're probably not gonna be able to do that one. So do like a regular push-up or a different event. We're gonna superset these movements. We're gonna go into a bent over row. I'm gonna show you how to do it with bands first, but you can also do it with dumbbells. All right, it's down in a good bent forward position. Your back is in a neutral position and you're just pulling straight up. We're gonna do about 10. Okay, good. This time I'm going to use the little step stool. We're going to go back to the decline push-up. So do what you can as far as reps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, we'll do bent over rows with the dumbbells this time. Same thing, slight bend to your knees, hinging forward at your hips, and just pulling straight up. So that move is building your back and your biceps for the leg tuck move, and also the deadlift a little bit. All right, last set of those two. Back into the decline push-ups. And begin. So I just did 15 that time. I want to be able to actually get through this workout. All right, last time, bent over row. Going back to the band. All right, we're just pulling straight up. The more parallel your trunk is to the floor, the more challenging this is going to be on your back specifically. the more upright you are, the more you're gonna like be using your shoulders instead of more your back muscles. All right, so that was the first round of exercise. So we're supersetting. We're doing 2 exercises, and we're just going back and forth between them. I'll let you guys rest a little bit here before you go to the next one. You're gonna need either a ball or your step stool. We're gonna do uneven push-ups, so we're gonna have one hand on an elevated surface. We're gonna superset that with the row movement with our bands. All right, rest just a little bit longer. All right, we're gonna get started. Okay, so uneven push-ups, we'll do about 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that was 10. If you want to do a few more, you can. Next thing we're going to do, you're going to be on your hands and knees. Okay, and then one arm you're going to be holding onto the bands. If you don't have bands, you can use like a towel or a rope and do an isometric movement where you're not actually moving. You're just pulling as hard as you can against essentially an immovable object. Or you can do like a dumbbell, like a bicep curl or something with a dumbbell if you don't have any way to do this. We're going to get started. We're going to do 10. You're just pulling straight down. Don't let your shoulder come up towards your ear. You're pulling your shoulder blade down and back. Okay, and we're going to do the left side. So this is basically a pull-up move. This is great for the leg tuck. You're pulling straight down. Pull that shoulder blade down and back. All right, very good. All right, back to the uneven push-up. This time I'm going to use a small step stool in case you don't have a ball. And you definitely don't have to use something this tall. It can be shorter. It could be like a book, something just a couple inches, and then you gradually work up. But you need good shoulder mobility to do this. It'll help with your shoulder mobility. We're going to go. All right, back to the rows. And begin. All right. that was 10. Okay, one more set for each. I'm gonna go back to the ball. The only difference between those two is one you're moving the ball, the other you're moving your body. So honestly, it's probably a little bit harder with the step stool. All right, ready? All right, one last time. Set of 10. I'm gonna start with my left arm first this time. Just to switch things up. And let's go. All right, opposite side. All right, don't rush through your movements. You want some time under tension for your muscles. So slow and controlled is the way to go. I'll let you guys catch your breath a little bit before we start the next round. I've had my phone stop recording a few times, so I keep checking so I don't have to start over. All right, the next movement we're going to do is a kneeling, basically like a tricep push-up or a diamond push-up. You're going to do it on your knees though, so we're just hitting our triceps a little bit more. All right. So even though you're on your knees, you still got a good, nice flat back. And you're just going to come down, bring your chest down to your hands, and come back up. Keep your elbows close to your side. You might kind of slide back while you're doing it. You can just reposition. Get yourself back into a good position. All right, we're gonna do now a high kneeling, high row. So it's kind of more work in the middle of your back. Instead of using your lats as much, you're using some other muscles like your rhomboids, and you're pulling straight back. But it's still gonna help with things like the leg tuck and the deadlift. So it's just gonna look just like this. Okay, switch. We're gonna do 10 again. Again, if you don't have bands, you could use a towel or a rope, or you could do another round of bent over rows with your dumbbells. All right, we're gonna get back into the diamond push-ups on the knees. And begin. So I just did 20. If you want to do more, you sure can. I'll give you a couple seconds. And then we're going to get right back into the high row. Kneeling. Okay, I have my opposite knee up when I'm doing this. I'm going to use both bands this time. So we've been pretty much sticking to the sets of 10. If you want to do more than that, you can. If you're using really high resistance and you're working more on just pure strength, you can do fewer reps. But 10 is a good starting rep if this is like the first time doing something like this with a moderate resistance. All right, one more time through each of those. And begin. Alrighty. Let's see. Last time for the pulls, for the high rows. Go ahead, we're gonna get started here. 3, 2, 1, let's go. And switch. And begin. So nothing's really moving except for your arm in this move. All right. Take 30, wipe the sweat off your eyes, grab a sip of water, just kind of rest for a little bit. All right, so we're down to the last round of movements. And we're actually going to do 3 movements here, kind of like a little circuit instead of just 2, and then we'll finish up with our cool down stretch. So first one we're going to do is we're going to do a tricep extension with our bands. With our bands here, we're going to move into shoulder abduction, which you can use do with bands or dumbbells. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to do bicep curls in the 90-90 position. All right, so we're gonna get started. If you don't have bands, again, you can use your dumbbells, and I'll demonstrate that. I'll do the first set with the dumbbells. So I'm gonna use like 20 pounds, kind of light. You're just gonna hold them up overhead, slowly bend your elbows, let them come down next to your face, and then straighten back out. Again, we'll start with 10. Go slow on the way down, and then you can kind of explode up. All right, so that's how you do that with dumbbells. And then we're going to do shoulder abduction or shoulder raises out to the side. You can do this with the band. Depending on the bands that you have, you'll probably have to do like one arm at a time, because your band might be too hard to do both directions at the same time. So I'm going to use my dumbbells here today. And this is a relatively challenging movement, so you don't need a ton of weight for it. I'm going to use 15 here, and that'll probably be plenty challenging for right now after what we've already done today. All right, let's go. You're not going any higher than like 90 degrees. We want to keep our shoulders healthy. All right, that was 10. Okay, and then we're going to do bicep curls with the band. We're going to do a high curl, so you're kind of bringing your hands back to your forehead, your arms starting out in front of you, and you're just curling back like that. All right, so that was the first round of those 3 movements. We're going to go back through them. I'm going to go to the band this time for the tricep move instead of the dumbbells. So starting position is here. You're just straightening your elbows out in front of you. Keep your hands up high. All right. Okay, so then the next one was a shoulder abduction. And we're gonna begin. Since we're using different muscle groups, we don't have to rest as much in between. It saves time. It makes a more efficient workout. But it does challenge our cardio system a little bit. We're going to do the bicep curls. So especially with that movement, be aware of your equipment, make sure it's safe, make sure if it's gonna snap, it's not gonna hit you in the face, but things do break, so kind of inspect what you have beforehand and make sure it's solid, it's safe, it's not gonna break and hurt you. All right, we're gonna go into the tricep extensions. Last round of these. the bicep curl. All right, very good. Rest for a couple minutes. I'm just gonna make sure my phone's still recording, and it is. We're gonna finish up now with just some stretching. So we're 30 minutes in. We're gonna finish up with just a few minutes of stretching, and we are all done. All right. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna do a pec stretch, bicep stretch. If you've got a doorway where you can just put both hands in the doorway, that'll work really well. I'm just going to use my little 2x4 shelf here. You want to hold for about 30 seconds. If you're really stiff and tight, or you want to work longer, you definitely can, but stretching should be slow, relaxing, low load, long duration. Do the other side. Alternatively, you can also do the behind the back stretch where you pull your arms up or grab onto something behind you like this. Kind of stretch this way, both arms at the same time, and kind of drop down into the stretch. So we'll hold that for a little bit. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is if you have issues with your wrists, especially doing push-ups, and with the new arm extension push-up, you really have to have good shoulder mobility, because now you're not just coming to parallel, you're coming all the way to the floor. So you need a lot of shoulder extension and a lot of wrist extension. You can do a stretch like this afterwards to work on that, or you can do it against like a wall where you're just kind of leaning into it and stretching. But that's a good stretch to do as well, especially if you have problems with that. You know, if you don't, it's probably not necessary, but we're just going to do it here real quick. Do the other side. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a lat stretch. So just hold on to like a door frame or a post. You're just going to lean back and get a stretch through this part of your back. I'll show the other side here in just a second. You're just kind of leaning into it, stretching out your shoulder and your lats. Okay, we'll switch. You can also do it like in a kneeling position when you're trying to stretch this part of your body. Alright, next thing we're going to do is a cross body stretch. So you're stretching your posterior shoulder when you do this. A lot of us get pretty tight in the backs of our shoulders, which causes us to kind of be pushed into more of a rounded anterior shoulder position because we sit a lot and we are somewhat sedentary nowadays. So this is a good way to stretch our posterior shoulder, posterior cuff. I really like doing this one laying down so that you can just like gravity kind of bring your arm across your body. We're going to switch. Alternatively, you can also use like a door frame where you just kind of pull into it and you're stretching back here. If you have shoulder issues, you should probably spend more. You should probably do like kind of like the warm-up that we did before we did this workout. You should probably do that on other days that you don't even do a workout, and then you should probably spend time stretching like we're doing here as well to improve your shoulder mobility. All right, the last stretch that you can do is you can do an upper trap stretch. You're just going to grab your hand behind your back and kind of pull it across, and the side that you're pulling across, you're going to side bend your neck away from that side so that you're stretching. So I'm stretching my left upper trap. You're just going to hold that nice and gentle. So your upper trap runs from your acromion up to your spinous process in your neck, into your mastoid process. So you're just fixing your shoulder by pulling across and you're side bending your neck. Alternatively, you can just put your arm behind your head and you can kind of pull on your neck a little bit. There's a different way to do the same thing. All right, so that is all. That took about 37 minutes. Again, we didn't do any arm extension push-ups because I wanted to show you some different things that you can do just so that it's not so boring. You're not doing the same thing all the time. But obviously, probably the best way to prepare for the arm extension push-up is to do it. So on other days, you can work on that. All right, thanks for watching.